So the next intervention is called duet reading. Duet, D-U-E-T, duet reading. There are two reasons of why you might use duet reading. One of them is for a student who might often lose their spot while reading. Obviously, if children are losing their spot when reading, it's going to significantly impede their comprehension. And secondly, if students just don't get to the next word quickly enough, this is a really good intervention for them. So think of those two reasons of why duet reading might be beneficial for a student. So again, you'll want 4 to 6 sentences, in other words, short passage, at an independent level, reading at least at 95% accuracy. And here's what it looks like. So the first time through, the student is going to read the text. And immediately it's going to be the standard error correction procedure if a child does not know a word. And then it's the second reading that becomes quite fascinating to me. I have a text here that I'll just grab, and I'll just give you an example of what it's like. Now it's tough if I could have you sit next to me and we'd be doing this. It would be a lot clearer, but hopefully you'll be able to follow this no problem. So the second reading is basically we're going to take turns reading every other word. So in this case, this is a text called "How to Soak Up Oil." So I'll just take a couple of the sentences, and I start, and then if you were the student, you would read the second word. So I would start with "did," you would say "you." "Know that chicken feathers have many uses." "Of course, they keep chickens warm and dry." Okay, so you get the idea. Hopefully you can follow that with my prompting you that when you're speaking when I am. And that's the second read. So we're taking turns reading every other word. Where this gets a little bit tricky is, let's say that a child doesn't know one of the words. We immediately do standard error correction procedure. That's not tough. So let's say in the first sentence that the child didn't know the word feathers. So immediately I would say this word is feathers. I would say to the student, what word? The child would say feathers, and I would say yes, feathers. We go back to the beginning of the sentence and reread. Well, that can be a little bit tricky because we've been trading off every other word, right? We want the student to come back to the word feathers. So we have to track backwards from the word feathers, and that was you reading feathers, so it's me, you, me, which starts the beginning of the sentence, and so it would be "did you know that chicken feathers," and if you know the word feathers, it's now shifted hopefully from short-term to long-term memory, have many uses. That's how that will work. So you just have to kind of count backwards, if you will, when there's any error that's made, and you go through the standard error correction procedure. Okay, so that's the second reading. The third reading, we do the same thing basically, but we flip-flop roles. So in step 2, I started reading and you would go second. Now you start as the student, and then I go second. So you would start with "did," I would say "you know that chicken feathers have many uses." "Of course, they keep chickens warm and dry." Again, if say that child didn't know the word, one of these words, we'd have to count backwards. You, me, with the words, so that when we get back to the beginning of the sentence, we're actually staying in the same order so that the child gets to the word that they're working on. That's the third reading. Then the fourth and final reading is now the child reads the passage by him or herself again, and hopefully you'll see a significant improvement from the first cold read to the fourth and practiced reading. Very powerful intervention. Duet reading.